I read an article in the Bay Guardian about this group called Jobs for Older Women. And it described what they were doing, that they were women my mother's age who were out of work as housewives because either they were widowed or divorced and had no means of support. They weren't yet eligible for Social Security on their husband's bill, nor were they eligible in many cases for a pension if he had one. And so they were organizing to get jobs, and they had just done this wonderful demonstration where they were out there chanting in front of the Oakland Employment Department offices, chanting, "The old gray mare, she's better than she used to be." I was very taken with that. So I called the woman who was in charge, who was named in the article, Tish Sommers. And I said, I was an unemployed lawyer with, time on my hands. Could she use some help? And she said, absolutely. Come to this meeting tonight. So I went, and that's how I got involved with them. They were just a wonderful bunch of feisty women, my mother's age. So that was a nice sort of surrogate mothering that I got from all of them. I was 28 years old. And we started working on ways to get older women into some of the jobs programs that existed where they were not qualified because they were too old. One of the big problems of the day was the no-fault divorce, which younger feminists had been fighting for. But for older women, it was devastating because what it meant was they were not necessarily going to get any alimony if their husbands divorced them, and they were not going to be eligible for his pension or Social Security or any of the rest of it. So that was a big issue. There were plenty of women out there. It turned out there were millions of displaced homemakers in this country. The way we went about trying to get the Displaced Homemakers Act passed was to build the base of women who were affected by it and reaching out to, the women in the church groups, in the PTAs, in the League of Women Voters, the sort of the women who manned the voting stations, right, when you had elections. And get them engaged in it. You can get those women and their husbands and their kids to go and lobby their local representative. And then that person has a mind change. I was a worker bee who happened to have a lot of chutzpah. I learned how to be courageous and outspoken. Yes, I learned how to write legislation and I, learned some litigation skills, but learning how to organize and lobby in the organizing sense was hugely important to me. I mean, it made a big difference in all the things I did from then on in my life. And how to be a leader and not be afraid of it.